Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Requiem for a Dream, starring Ellen Burstyn, Jared Leto, Jennifer Connelly, Marlon Wayans, and Christopher McDonald, directed by Darren Aronofsky. Now, this is another one I'm kind of a newbie on, and I hear it's really good. Let's see how this goes. We open with Tappy Tibbins, played by Christopher McDonald's TV show, where he has a winner and Harry Goldfarb, played by Jared Leto, takes the TV away from, and his mother Sarah, played by Ellen Burstyn, locks herself in her bedroom, and Harry wants to talk with her as she'll get it back in a couple of hours, while Harry's friend Tyrone C. Love, played by Marlon Wayans. What's he doing here? But anyways, he's perfectly casted in this role, as they take the TV to the pawn shop for money. And why does Harry take the TV to the pawn shop and get some money, as he could use anything to pawn? While the score is tremendous, as Peter Jackson uses this score 2 years later in the trailer for The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, as it's summertime and Harry gets the money and they dance and get to a restaurant, and Harry thinks about taking a cop's gun away and plays a game with Tyrone, and we move on to Sarah getting the TV back from the pawn shop, as the pawner asks why can't she just get the cops to talk to Harry, but she wouldn't do that to her son, and she watches the TV and her favorite show. These are absolutely very likable characters. Harry and his girlfriend Marion Silver, played by Jennifer Connelly, cause some shenanigans in a building just to throw paper airplanes and to see the view of the city they live in, and run out of there and lay on the couch together, as they plan on doing something with Tyrone, and Harry and Marion touch each other in the weirdest ways possible. While Sarah wins some money from her favorite TV show, and Tappy wants to put her on the TV as she tries on a red dress, but unfortunately it doesn't fit her, as she asks one of the neighbors to help her out in putting on the red dress, and she tries to go on a diet with no sugar and no dressings, and combs her hair, and her new hairdo looks fancy as she tries the new diet. And the cinematography is absolutely well done, as this movie is absolutely shot throughout, and it's very well made by director Darren Aronofsky. But if I were but yeah, anyways, if I were her mother, if I were her son, I would tell Sarah that she accepted a scam or something like that. Marion sniffs some cocaine while Sarah watches her favorite show, as she walks outside and joins her neighbors and sitting outside with her fellow elderly ladies, as she gets by the mailman with her information on being on the TV, as Harry and Tyrone plan something, and that I believe is a heist. And this movie makes you guess the entire time, as you never know what's going to happen for the rest of the movie, as Harry sees Marion at the edge of the beach until Tyrone gets back and they sniff some cocaine and gets high, while Sarah prepares to go on the TV with Tappy at nighttime and trying to get healthy, and she goes to bed for the day and can't help but see the unhealthy foods coming at her edge on her head, and gets back up, and she wants to go to the doctor her friend recommended to her, as Harry is jealous because Marion goes out with another guy named Arnold the Shrink in the next scene, and the editing is tightly put together. Sarah sees the doctor as he comes in and suddenly out, and I thought, what the fuck, because I once saw a doctor come in the room quickly and suddenly leaving the room as in a hurry, as Harry gets some money and gets a shitload of cocaine and more money to put away, as Sarah takes some pills for the day and has some food that is against her will, and watches once again her favorite TV show. And we move on to Tyrone smoking and thinking of his mother while having sexual intercourse with a woman naked, while Harry thinks about and tells Marion he wants to get a brand new TV for his mother. And they get high while Sarah drinks coffee and takes her medicine and continuously watches her favorite show while getting prepared to be on it, while we continue Tyrone naked having sex with a woman. And we get day after day Sarah's taking the pills with coffee, as Harry arrives at his mother's place and he says nonstop, "For Christ's sake," almost too much. And this movie is which will be my only critique of the film, and he sits with her, and as she forgets he's seeing Marion, as they met before, and he tells her that he got a new TV for Macy's that's bigger than the one she has currently, and I'm talking about Sarah, in the house, as the performances are great. Harry goes crazy about the pills his own mother Sarah takes, as she believes it's not good for her, and he thinks he knows more about pills than a doctor, while she tells him she's going to be on the TV in her favorite show, as Harry believes it's a scam. And she got a call from and monologues about her life and how old she is, as Ellen Burstyn gives one of her best performances, as she got the Oscar nomination, but unfortunately lost it to Julia Roberts and Erin Brockovich, which is a movie I haven't seen, but one day I'll get there. And Harry leaves disappointed and sad for his mother, while Tyrone gets into some kind of trouble and gets caught by a cop as Harry and Marion hang out together while Tyrone is sitting in jail, as this movie is effective at telling people out there to not do drugs, even though it might be too late for some people. Sarah takes her pills and thinks about how she wants some money on her favorite show, led by Tappy nonstop, as Harry has a mask on like he's robbing someone, bailing Tyrone out of jail, and sees someone getting thrown out of a truck, and as they run away, with Marion getting depressed for Harry as they have an argument of some kind, while Sarah sees the doctor and Harry gets some money out of with Tyrone and meets with a gangster about Tyrone and trying to get things back together, and Marion gets together with Arnold the Shrink and have dinner, and she asks him for a favor with a trade for her to hump his ass, as Harry thinks about getting her an engagement ring based on what he saw on the TV, and this is a powerful film at this point. Marion gets on an elevator with a couple of guys, and we get a shot that I love where we get her point of view, as that was a great shot. And we move on to Harry and Tyrone going to the store, and they try to buy from a junkie, as the junkie fucked them, as they get pissed off about it, and Marion is very upset as she rips up the apartment and takes some drugs. And so does Sarah, as she feels it after the prescription by the doctor, and she sees the light flickering back and forth, and Marion learns their life is fucked and yell at each other. And I'm led to believe they broke up. It gets a number from a major dealer named Big Tim, who's played by Keith David, as we heard a little bit from Tyrone earlier in the film. And this movie pays off what they say at one point, and the script pays off as it doesn't disappoint. Sarah sees things as she sees she's on the set of her favorite show, until her refrigerator appears with sharp teeth, which freaks her the fuck out, as winter comes and Sarah walks outside in the snow, and Harry and Tyrone get to California while Sarah is acting like a homeless psycho, and she gets to the studio having some kind of meltdown about being on the show, while the cops escort her out with security and gets to the mental hospital, as Marion cries while on the phone with Big Tim, and she goes to his place and she kisses him, and Harry and Tyrone get to a place where Harry puts heroin on his arm, and I had to look away because he puts a needle in his arm, and I have a phobia of needles in general. And these scenes were so effective in so many levels. Sarah gets hospitalized at a mental hospital, as does Harry, and the doctors hold Sarah down to make her feel better while Harry is hospitalized. Marion calls Harry's hospital, and she's sad for him, and he's trying to stay off the drugs, and everyone is cured as Harry and Marion, but now there's nothing on the side of the beach, and Harry wakes up and feels better while Sarah gets a haircut, and the movie ends with Sarah on the show with Tappy and Harry, and I believe that was a dream. And the climax was a mind fuck. And that's what makes this one of director Darren Aronofsky's best movies, in my opinion. Let's talk about why and a rating. I'll give this movie a 8.7 out of 10. The score is tremendous throughout. Peter Jackson uses it for his trailer for The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. And these are absolutely likable characters, as I like them throughout the movie. And the cinematography is well done. And this movie is absolutely well shot throughout, as it's well made by director Darren Aronofsky. This movie makes you guess the entire time, as you never know what's going to happen for the rest of the movie, as the editing is tightly put together, as the performances are great, as and Ellen Burstyn gives one of her best performances. She was nominated, but unfortunately lost to Julia Roberts in Erin Brockovich, which is a movie I haven't seen yet, but one day I'll get there. It's effective to tell people to not do drugs, as unfortunately people still do, and this is a very powerful film, as it's a solid recommendation for this movie, as I love the shot where we got Marianne's point of view, as that was a great shot, and the script pays off as it doesn't disappoint, and this is so far Darren Aronofsky's best work in my opinion. So I would like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time we'll be back with The Fountain, which is another film I haven't seen of Aronofsky's, but I've heard of it. And until then, don't do drugs, kids. Or anybody.